Dick Norse, Bob Welty, Paul James, Mountain America's #1 news team. From Broadcast House, Mountain America's news center, the most complete, comprehensive, and up-to-the-minute news reporting in the Mountain West. The Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
You're watching 5, the news specialist.
Good evening, I'm Shelley Thomas.
And I'm Dick Norse.
You're watching 5, the news specialists.
Good evening.
Live from Salt Lake City, you're watching the News Specialists. Dick Norse, Shelley Thomas, Bob Welty with weather, and Jim Nance with sports. Live from Salt Lake City, you're watching the News Specialists. Dick Norse, Shelley Thomas, Bob Welty with weather, and Craig Bowlerjack with sports.
Good evening, I'm Shelley Thomas.
And I'm Dick Norse.
Live from Salt Lake City, you're watching the News Specialists. Don Olson, Carol Makita, Kent Norton with weather, and Craig Bowlerjack with sports.
Good evening, I'm Carol Makita.
And I'm Don Olson.
You're watching KSL Television, Channel 5. This is Eyewitness News. The News Specialists with Dick Norse, Shelley Thomas, Bob Welty with weather, and Paul James with sports. You're watching KSL Television, Channel 5. This is Eyewitness News, the News Specialists with Dick Norse, Bruce Lindsay, Len Randolph with weather, and Steve Cyphers with sports.
Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of Eyewitness Newsmakers. I'm your host, Doug Miller.
Television, Channel 5. This is the #1 Eyewitness News at 10 with Dick Norse, Carol Makita, Mark Eubank with weather, and Craig Bowlerjack with sports. The News Specialists.
Good evening, I'm Dick Norse.
And I'm Carol Makita.
You're watching KSL Television, Channel 5. This is the #1 Eyewitness News at 10 with Keith McCord, Carol Makita, Kent Norton with weather, and Craig Bowlerjack with Sports Beat Sunday. The News Specialists.
Good evening again. I'm Steve Eager in for Keith McCord tonight.
And I'm Carol Makita. The UN inspection team.
You're watching KSL Television, Channel 5, Salt Lake City, Utah. This is the #1 Eyewitness News at 6, the News Specialists.
Hands out there, man! They're lying! They're lying! If their lips are moving, they're lying! I'm not a drug dealer. I'm not a criminal. I'm a disabled veteran.
After a 4-hour standoff with police, this man is in jail tonight.
What you just heard is an edited part of an exclusive telephone call the suspect made to Eyewitness News just before surrendering to police. Good evening, I'm Jane Clayson.
And I'm Keith McCord at Begin.
Again, I'm Bruce Lindsay.
And I'm Carol Makita. And this is Eyewitness News at 6:30.
You're watching KSL Television, Channel 5, Salt Lake City, Utah. This is the #1 Eyewitness News at 6:30. The news specialists.
Jacqueline Kennedy.
You're watching KSL Television, Channel 5, Salt Lake City, Utah. This is the #1 Eyewitness News at 10. The news specialists.
Utah Jazz fans flock to their TV sets.
You're watching the #1 Eyewitness News with Lisa Conley and Scott Light. KSL-5, the news specialist.
Good morning. Another home in the Salt.
You're watching KSL Channel 5. This is Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Ruth Todd, and tonight for Dick Moore.
You are watching KSL-5. This is Eyewitness News at 6:30.
And we're not here making excuses.
You are watching KSL-5. This is Eyewitness News at 10.
It came without warning. A tornado touching down in the heart of Salt Lake City. It lasted only a few minutes, but sent debris flying everywhere. And when it was over, the damage and destruction left behind still seemed unreal.
The cleanup has already begun. This live camera shot shows what's left of a convention setup across from the Delta Center.
You are watching KSL-5. This is an Eyewitness News special report.
Well, the storm may be over, but there is definitely a lot of work ahead.
You're watching the #1 KSL-5 Eyewitness News at 10.
Oregon police say they have arrested.
You're watching the #1 KSL-5 Eyewitness News at 10.
A 2-year-old child in Midvale tonight.
You're watching KSL-5 Eyewitness News HD, First Edition.
Well, the city of West Georgia.
You're watching the #1 KSL-5 Eyewitness News HD at 10.
The city of West Jordan went to great lengths today to move an historic building.
This is Decision 2006, a conversation with the candidates on KSL-5 Eyewitness News.
Good evening and welcome to this installment of Decision 2006, a conversation with the candidates.
You're watching the #1 KSL-5 News.
Good morning and welcome to KSL-5 News. I'm Erin Roche.
You're watching the #1 KSL-5 News at 10.
We feel that it's time for the governor to come forward and say, why he did this, what's going on.
Contributions absolutely do not equal access.
The governor raises hundreds of thousands of dollars at his annual fundraising gala just hours after demonstrators go to the governor's mansion to protest what they call the state's pay-to-play system. Governor Gary Herbert joined a crowd of more than 1,000 people tonight.
Good morning. This is the KSL Fastcast. Today is Tuesday, October 8th. I'm Shara Park. Good morning. This is the KSL Fastcast for Wednesday, August 28th. Here are your local headlines.
A deadly crash in Provo started when a teen stole an SUV and led police on a chase. We'll give you the latest on what happened.
All eyes on Facebook today in its second day of trading. We'll see how the stock is faring as investors assess Friday's disappointing debut.
And it seems the internet didn't kill the travel agent. Why more people are turning to travel agents to book vacations.
This is KSL, your news specialists today.
Well, good Monday morning. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Scott Haas.
And I'm Tanya Papanicholas. It was a beautiful, beautiful weekend.
Perfect.
Yes.
Live at 5 starts now.
Good evening. A breakthrough in a brutal 2.5-year-old murder mystery.
News specialist Richard Piatt joins us now live.
You're watching KSL, Utah's source for news.
It looked normal at first. It was taking the same angle that they always come in, like this, and then.
This is KSL, your news specialist. This is breaking news from KSL, your news specialist.
Good evening. We start right out of the gate here with some breaking news. A possible break in the search for missing Malaysian Airlines Flight 370.
This is Sunday Edition with Richard Piatt.
In this Sunday edition, a conversation with the Republican candidates vying for the job of Utah Attorney General will give Sean Reyes and John Swallow the chance to make their case to voters and discuss each candidate's vision for that office. Plus, in this week's political roundup, a closer look at outside money in Utah politics and if there should be more transparency. All in this Sunday edition. And a good Sunday morning to you. I'm Richard Piatt.
KSL News starts now.
On this Monday morning, deaths worldwide from COVID-19 nearing 15,000, and a Utah now counted among that total. The number of people sick grows as well, including State Senator Luz Escamilla.
KSL News starts now.
New at this noon hour.
KSL News starts now.
I say 50% of the time are fatigued drivers.
A record number of people are hitting the road this holiday weekend. We'll show you the trouble areas and the biggest concerns for troopers.
Round and round it goes. Your luggage out in the open every time you fly. Is it safe? And how often does it get stolen? KSL investigators are packing the answers.
And a terrifying 10 minutes.
She was just in there sweating. She was panicking.
A toddler locked inside a hot car and the rescue that follows.
KSL News starts now.
Good evening. 3 Davis County children are safe tonight.
KSL Flashcast starts now.
Good evening. Here's a look at your headlines today for our KSL Flashcast.
This is breaking news from KSL.
Good evening. 2 people on the run right now after a home invasion led to a police chase where officers had to duck for cover.
You're watching KSL-5 News.
A big announcement today that could bring the Winter Olympics back to Salt Lake City.
KSL Today starts now.
Well, good early morning, everyone. I'm Sheriff Park. A police officer is in the hospital and a driver arrested. Police now trying to figure out what happened.
Live happy is our motto. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Studio 5, where I'm kind of bouncing in my chair today.
KSL News at noon starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sheriff Park here with Dan Spindle.
KSL News at 6.
Why are you fighting me? A Salt Lake police officer has been suspended after letting his canine partner attack a man who had his hands in the air.
I feel sorry for our athletic directors here in the state that are trying to deal the hand that's been dealt to them.
Tonight at 10, a devastating blow dealt to college football, the ripple effect being felt here in Utah.
Plus, concerns tonight in the Alpine School District ahead of a new school year. The changes teachers are asking the district to make.
We're truly just working full time and sightseeing at the same time.
And we introduce you to a growing group of Americans taking their jobs on the road, literally.
KSL News at 10 starts now.
Good evening. It has been an unprecedented day in college football and for the University of Utah.
This is breaking news from KSL.
Good evening. Tonight, a Salt Lake City police officer is suspended and some canines are benched after an incident with a man from this past April.
With more local programming and #1 Eyewitness News, turn to KSL-5.